There's been media speculation lately that Alex Bowman could lose his ride in the 48 car for 2025, maybe even being replaced by Kyle Busch. Bowman addressed those rumors at NASCAR Playoff Media Day.
What's happening next year? Do you know your plans for 2025?
Yeah, that rumor has certainly been annoying. Definitely, obviously, my contract's through the end of 26, and all I can tell you is what my bosses have told me, and there's no plans to change anything. And rumors are just rumors. So hopefully they'll get their announcements done, so my rumors stop, obviously. And as far as I know, I'm driving the 48 next year, and nothing's changing.
And there's no reason that you should doubt that, and you feel.
Yeah, I don't think so. I trust my bosses, and that's what they've told me. So, other than that, just focus on trying to be strong the next 10 weeks.
Are there any questions about if you have to do something over the next 10 weeks? It just seems unfair right before the playoffs.
Yeah.
To have to, you're going through this, or
yeah,
if that's the perception.
Yeah, no, there's none of that, right? Like every conversation I've had with my bosses is it's unfortunate rumors, and it's like rumors that we're really not even a part of, which makes it difficult, right? Like I don't think there's any plans or anything on the HMS side, and I think the rumors have started on the other side of things. So hopefully when they get their announcement on what the other side is doing, right, of that rumor, then it'll kind of go away for me for sure.
You've had to deal with a lot this year, even in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just another case, or is it?
My life.
When you have to live with that, and fair or not fair, that's just how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, certainly, like that's a rumor that I've heard for a month, right? Yeah. And it got to the point where I picked up the phone and called everybody, and everybody said absolutely not. So that's really all I have to go on, and I don't have a reason to believe anything other than that. There's no, oh, you need to do this to keep your job. Like, it's absolutely not. Everything's fine. So beyond that, like, we need to go run better. It's been a miserable month, and we haven't executed on a high level at all. So we need to go run better the next 10 weeks, but we need to do that for us and our playoff run and for Ally and the 48 car. There's no, like, you need to do this to keep your job. As far as I know, I'm not worried about that at all.
How does one turn things around? Look, at the start of the playoffs, everybody says, hey, it's a new season. Just because it's a new season doesn't mean the same things aren't following you, or how do you break that chain?
I feel like we've been able to do that in the past, and honestly, a month ago, everything was going pretty well, right? We had a big crash at Indy, crash at Daytona. Obviously, we had some issues this weekend, so it's been frustrating. But we've had some fast race cars sprinkled in there. Obviously, we crashed at Michigan with another fast race car, so we just need to execute at a high level the next 10 weeks, and just need to buy in and kind of have the whole team lock in and execute well.
With the playoffs, obviously there's a process that you go through throughout each week of the season, and in living your life and doing things. When you get into the playoffs, is there something that you cut out, or is there something that you make sure to keep a part of because of the potential stress and everything for 10 long weeks?
I don't think you can change much. I think you kind of have to, the way our sport works, you have to kind of live the whole year that way. So certainly working super hard and kind of trying to do everything that I possibly can. But I feel like sometimes you do that and almost get worse. So just got to go do my thing and go from there.
So what's a stress reliever then for this part?
There isn't one during the Cup season anymore, for sure. I think every week is so tough, and the way the races go, like there's no getting away from the stress of this deal for me, at least. So just need to go execute. Winning relieves some stress for sure.
What's a saying that Blake says that you've heard from Blake often that is just kind of one that he repeats, or one that makes you laugh, or one that makes you roll your eyes because you hear it so often, but it's something that he often says?
I don't really have a saying like that from him, but I think for me, really just, things were tough at the start of the year, and talking to him, he's like, oh, you and I are the only two that can fix it. So, he said that, and then he brought it up again this week. So I think, just him and I are responsible for how that team is going to execute for the next 10 weeks, and need those guys to lock in and be all in for the next 10 weeks for sure.
Some might view you guys as a underdog or a potential Cinderella.
Yeah.
Is that a way that you would look at it, or is that the wrong way to look at it from your vantage point because of you've won races, you're with a team that's won races?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to improve where we're at for sure. Haven't been where we need to be for the last little bit. Our season's kind of been broken up into streaks of really good runs and then streaks of really bad runs. So I think if we can get the streak of really good runs to fall well for the next 10 weeks, I think we can be in a really good spot. But I think there's no reason why we're not capable of doing that. We just need things to go our way and need to put our best foot forward.
Do you have more pressure this year to win some races in the championship because it's the 40th year of motorsports?
Yes and no. I think for Rick and Mrs. H and everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, I think it means a lot to them. But for me, as a selfish race car driver, I just want to go win races every week, right? I don't think there's anybody on the outside that's going to put more pressure on me than I put on myself to perform each and every week and to do my job. So, maybe you want it a little more for them, but as a driver, I probably want it more for myself.
Are you afraid to do some races in this field?
I think the speedway stuff obviously can be a big wild card. Watkins Glen's been pretty hard on us over the years, so we're super focused on being better there. But beyond that, if we get rolling in the right direction, we can be good anywhere.
At the beginning of the season, everybody's talking about, hey, we're going to make the playoffs.
Yep.
Well, now you're here.
Yep.
And, so what are the odds of you getting to Phoenix and compete for this thing?
Yeah, I mean, we need to improve what we've been doing, how we've been executing to make that happen, and I think we're capable and have the resources that we need to do that. It's just a matter of going and doing it. So, Mr. H gives us the tools we need, so we got to go make it happen.
When you're looking and breaking down the playoff segments and stages or whatever we're calling them, the first round, that has a lot of drivers concerned. It seems to be one of the toughest or one of the most coin flippish rounds. Is that what you think, or is there another round that you're worried about?
Honestly, I'm so week to week, I don't even know what the next tracks are after the first round. So super focused on that round. And obviously, I think, Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Bristol, there's so many things that can happen. Pretty easy to have somebody else ruin your day at two of those three. So, just need to go execute at a high level and go week to week from there.
You guys were given kind of an edict of they wanted to. I think it was Mrs. H said she wanted all four cars in the.
Yeah, she wants that every year, but she made it very clear that. Oh no! Now I'm dropping the microphone. She made it very clear that that we better make it happen. I think she said she really, 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 really wants that. So, when she speaks, we listen for sure.
How would you characterize your regular season? I mean, I know the Chicago win being a highlight.
Yeah.
Things have kind of gone in waves, though.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's been up and down, right? Like, we've had streaks of really good runs, and the last month we've kind of repeatedly been kicked in the teeth. So, excited to get the playoffs started. We're a plenty capable race team. We just need to go out and do it.
Do you look at it as a blank slate, fresh slate?
A little bit. It would have been nice to carry some positive momentum in, and I feel like the first half of the summer we had a better summer than normal, and then the second half of the summer the wheels fell off. So definitely a little bit of a blank slate, but we'll see what happens.
Not talking about any driver in particular, but have you seen aggression ramping up?
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten crazy over the last couple of years for sure. I think if we raced now, or if we race 10 years ago how we do now, we would get out of the car and get our ass kicked. So it's changed a lot, right? And it's changed for everybody. And I feel like I'm not the overly aggressive, dirty race car driver. And the races have played out to really benefit the overly aggressive, dirty race car drivers. So trying to get myself there for sure. And yeah, it's definitely changed.
Is that because of the current car?
Yeah, I think passing has just become so ridiculously difficult that you have to get what you can, and ruining somebody else's day to do it or whatever you need to do has just become part of it. And yeah, it's just changed.
Thank you.
How do you think history will look back on this era of NASCAR later on? You're talking about how it's way more aggressive now than it used to be.
Shoot, I feel like it's only going one direction, right? It's only going to continue to get more aggressive. So it'll be interesting. It's hard to imagine it being more aggressive than it is now, but could happen for sure.
Now, you and Blake have had stretches of really, really good portions of seasons the last couple of years. Are you feeling confident that you guys are going to hit that when you get to the playoffs now?
We better, right? Like I think, the last month has been frustrating, and we're a plenty capable race team, so we need to go run well for the next 10 weeks, and I feel like we're plenty capable of doing that.
Has there been anything in particular that you've done behind the wheel the last month that's led to it, or do you think it's just
yeah, I mean, really, I sped on pit road at Richmond, and that hurt us a little bit, but we weren't any good before that, and got loose and smoked the fence on that restart at Michigan, which cost us a top 8 finish. But other than that, we just haven't been very good, honestly. So super frustrating to not be better than we've been, but we'll keep digging at it.
Do you think you could be the stealth that people, don't see you coming as much as they do some other of the playoff contenders, and that is a benefit? Because if I'm you, I'm thinking, I'm on a surprise everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. I mean, maybe from the outside it looks like that matters, but we're all racing each other as hard as we possibly can, so there's not really like a surprise factor that's going to benefit anybody. But for me, yeah, hopefully we run really well during the playoffs and can prove some people wrong.
So you don't think anybody's got anything extra left as you go into Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, obviously we're all going to try to have extra and try to raise the bar, but the way these teams operate, there's not much left to grasp at. So we're all going to work super hard and be bought in, but at the same time, we do that all year, so it'll be interesting.
Last thing, do you ever then sit back and say, good Lord, we're giving it everything we have, and search yourself for that whatever that you think maybe doesn't even exist, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think at times it feels like the harder you work, the worse things go for you. So, we're all in for sure.
You pushed your teammate William to the win of the Daytona 500. Have you reminded of that? Going to Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta's such a different beast than the Daytona 5. I've dropped that thing like 3 times now. Than the Daytona 500. Now what did I drop now? You're throwing your phone. This is a real 48 team special going on right now. We got shit everywhere. Yeah, Atlanta's just different than Daytona, right? It's not going to be, Daytona, Talladega. You see the manufacturers work together so much and kind of dictate how that race falls. And there's a lot less of that at Atlanta. So, it'd be nice if he'd push me to the win, but I would say that if you ask him who pushed him the most in that race, he's probably forgotten by now. So that's just how the sport goes. Yeah. What else we got?
Well, we still have 15 minutes in this chair.
Oh, sweet. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to bid up this Volkswagen. Oh, shit. No hard-hitting questions? Who the fuck is Brett Griffin? Yep.
She's like, I think we're gonna have
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. He knows more about my life than I know about my life. Yeah. Yeah. I don't go on Twitter. I stay off the internet, except to like I'll go and bring a trailer, but the internet, the rest of the internet, it's a car auction website. Yeah. Yeah. Suarez is trying to buy a Volkswagen here later today, so I'm gonna bid his ass up, make him pay too much money. Yep. 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 And then if I end up with it, I'm gonna be really sad. But
yeah, it's when it backfires and then you're stuck with whatever it goes up to.
Yep.
Then it's a problem.
Yeah, that would be a large problem. I'd still make him buy it from me somehow. I'd just park it at his house. Yep. With a bill on the top, an invoice. Yep. Yep.
This is more fun than talking about racing.
Yeah, for sure.
We talked a little bit Sunday night, and you talked about Darlington obviously did not go the way that you wanted to, and you said that we just need to run better in the playoffs. How can you guys do that? Is it just getting the finishes, or is there some execution in there as well about bringing better cars?
Yeah, both for sure. Like we haven't been very good lately. Yeah, we need to qualify better. We need to execute better. I need to do everything on my end better. We need to be better on pit road, like across the board. We need to be better. So, I made a couple mistakes in the last couple weeks. Sped on pit road at Richmond, crashed at Michigan, and then we've had some cars that we've struggled with, and some things on pit road happen. Kind of across the board, we need to be better. So, 10 weeks to go, prove we can be better.
The first round, I think you and I also talked about it. Everybody said it's going to be wild. Is that a realistic expectation? I mean, you have Atlanta, which could go any which way. It seems like tire deg might be the story at Watkins Glen and Bristol.
Yeah, the Watkins Glen thing is interesting because they said it was 6 seconds, and then they tested again last week, and I heard 2. So,
So maybe
I heard much less than we thought, but it'll be interesting to see what actually happens. I feel like we kind of never know, and then Bristol, is the same thing going to happen? Is it not going to happen? So, it's going to be interesting. Atlanta, it's its own thing. We'll see what happens.
So it seems like the first two, instead of that middle round, that second round being the wild one with Talladega, it seems like potentially we could have the first two more stressful than normal.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
How have you and your crew chief discussed getting through round one?
Go execute at a high level every week. I mean, that's really all we can do. Obviously, Atlanta, a lot of things outside of our control can happen, but we need to do our job at a high level, bring fast race cars, run up front, score stage points, and make the right decisions on the racetrack.
Do you anticipate 54 lead changes again at Bristol? I mean, it was the unknown there was just absolutely nuts. It wasn't what anyone was expecting. Crew chiefs, engineers, they look at numbers, and when it baffles their mind, then everything's up in the air.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the tire wears like that again, right? Like, it's going to be a lot hotter. The racetrack will probably rubber up more, but we don't really know until we go do it, especially with a concrete racetrack. They can change, and the weather can change. It can go one way or the other, not having the sun on it because it's going to be a night race. I mean, it'll be warm, but no sun. So, hard to say what it's going to do. I think it has the potential to be absolutely as wild as it was the first time, and then it also has the potential to be a completely normal Bristol race. So, I'm sure we'll find out within the first 100 laps of the race, but until then, I don't think we're going to know.
What makes Hendrick Motorsports so good at Watkins Glen?
I feel like I've been terrible there, so hard to say. I feel like that's the one road course that I've still kind of got to get a hold of a little bit, but I think it started with, obviously Hendrick Motorsports on road courses has been really good for a long time, but Chase really got a hold of Watkins Glen and kind of developed all our stuff to be really good there kind of right off the bat. So, trying to play catch up a little bit, but I'm excited to get there.
How does that track react? We weren't there in 2020, but how does that track react with the next gen car compared to the previous car? And is there anything that you've had to relearn going to the Glen because of it?
Yeah, it's just gotten really hard to pass with this car. So strategy and track positions become more and more important. obviously you see everybody pushing the fuel mileage the most they can to try to play the track position game. And yeah, it's just made all that stuff more important, made qualifying more important. So yeah, excited to get there and have another shot at it.
They're saying, 4-second fall off in the tires and, the new curbs you had in the carousel. I mean, it's going to have a different complexion ultimately.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there really is that much fall off. I think the wheel force test had a little bit less than they expected. There was a ton at the test before that and not a lot at the wheel force test. So interesting to see what's actually going to happen. And yeah, the curbs and where they've put the divots in the racetrack and trying to disparage everybody running way off of turn one and all that. It'll be interesting to see what actually happens. I think the wheel force test, some of the guys still ran way off the racetrack, some of the guys didn't. So yeah, I don't really know until we get there.
Thank you.
Yep.
When you look at the tires, and if there is as much fall as they kind of predict, do you have a sense of how much it'll change from strategy going through each stage?
I feel like the fall off stuff helps passing, right? So that would help making passes and guys slowing down, being able to take care of your tires a little bit, which has always been something that's in my wheelhouse and has helped me. But yeah, beyond that, it's just hard to say till we actually go do it.
So, I mean, how much more crucial is that extended practice session?
Yeah, just having an understanding of what the fall off is actually going to be, how the racetrack's going to evolve, if the divots actually affect the race car on the exit of one in the carousel, and then how to get through a kind of new bus stop. I think it's going to be really crucial.
Talking to a couple different drivers here, they've kind of conveyed the sense that the first round you have to be more conservative overall and having yourself.
Yeah.
The second round you can kind of get more aggressive, and the third round is just pushing the ball forward. Is that something like you're kind of cognizant of?
Yeah, I would agree with that. The first round, it's easy to get caught up in somebody else's mess. So trying to avoid that and execute at a high level. And from there, you just have to get more aggressive. So looking forward to hopefully making it all the way through.
Did the confidence at winning the street course give you confidence in those style of tracks where you do turn left and right overall?
Yeah, I mean, we've been really good on road courses the last couple of years. Obviously, Coda and the Roval have probably been the two best. But, Sonoma, we've had good runs, never had a good finish. We've had a lot of stuff happen to us there. Watkins Glen's always been the one that I struggled to just make pure pace at. So trying to really focus on getting better there. But, I wasn't good at Coda the first year, and I wasn't great at Chicago the first year, and focused on them and got better. So, no reason we can't do that at Watkins Glen too.
How did being the wheel force guy for a while help you become a better driver?
I would be a better race car driver right now if I raced full time for those 2 years than if I didn't, for sure. I think 2 years basically sitting on the couch is not beneficial for anybody, but staying in the car in 2017 a little bit and doing all those tests was better than sitting on the couch. So racing would have been better, but we didn't race, so it was the next best thing.
But did you learn something from working with the engineers, from seeing it at that side of the sport that could help you down the road?
A little bit. I spent a lot of time in the sim and developed a lot of good relationships with those guys. But the wheel force stuff is really more about, just driving the car in a really consistent way to give those guys the best data that you can. So way different than just going out and running 10/10s and try to make the best pace you can. But at the same time, I'm sure there were a couple things that I learned.
You feel 100% now?
Yeah, I feel really good. So training super hard, working really hard, and I feel like personally I'm in a really, really good place to do the best job I can for the next 10 weeks.
So when you kind of look back at history of the playoffs, Tony Stewart had playoff races last year, Kyle Busch had playoff races in 2021. Is that as possible now with your car first race?
Anything's possible, right? It can absolutely happen. It's maybe gotten a little bit harder with how the racing's gotten with the next-gen car, but certainly possible.
What would be the biggest factor? Because I know Harrison Burton referenced just tiny air pressure things.
Yeah, I mean, little changes, with the old car. Gosh dang it, this thing again. I dropped it 8 times. With the old car, like the separation of the field was way bigger than it is with the new car. Like we all pretty much run the same speed these days. So, it probably makes it a little more difficult.
Last one for me. Bell couldn't believe that he finished in the top 10 the last 3 starts at Watkins Glen. Larson, he's won he's won a couple of races. The dirt guys, you kind of learn coming up, seat of your pants. Your butt tells you a whole lot of what's going on. When you're going left and right like that, I have to feel like coming from that background's beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. I certainly come from less of that background than those two guys do. Like I ran the pavement open wheel stuff a lot more, but at the same time, having some of that experience, I think is good. So, yeah, I mean, Watkins Glen has just always been really difficult for me to just go out and make lap times. So, we've always been like 11th or 14th on lap time, but we need to be like 3rd to 1st on lap time. So, just need to go out and be better.
So if you get to the round of 12, do you definitely see a path?
I think so, for sure. I mean, I think where we're at now, we see a path. So we just have to go do it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good luck.
Thanks.